evening and welcome to this brief yet informative chat with James H. Longmore, the newest and brightest author at
Jaded Books Publishing,
the rising stars of the independent horror publishing industry. Welcome, James. Do tell us a little about yourself. Thank you, Sir Nigel. Well, I'm James H. Longmore. I'm a writer of novels, short stories and screenplays. I live in Houston, Texas, although originally I'm from Yorkshire in England.
For those of you that don't know England, we won second place in the American War of Independence. I'm sorry, was that too soon?
Yes, that is terribly amusing, isn't it? Tell me, and I'm sure our viewers at home would like to know, what does your middle initial, the H, stand for? Don't ever ask me that. And I'm sure you have plenty of witty observations about being a British person living over here in America.
So, one of the concepts that I really don't get, coming from England over here, is the whole concept of family restrooms. Yeah? I'm told it's so the whole family can go to the restroom together. Now, I really don't want my kids seeing what I get up to in a public bathroom, to be honest. Come on, kids, come on. Let's go watch Daddy suck a stranger's dick for money.
No, not really. Tell me, James, how long have you been writing? Pretty much my entire life, only 5 years professionally. And how many of your works so far have been picked up for publication? 4 novels, a novella, 3 shorts, and I'm waiting to hear a bunch more, and I've just completed my latest novel. Have you ever thought of venturing into the wonderful world of filmmaking? Why, yes, I have. I've written comedy, drama, horror of course, family animated feature, and even a biopic on the early life of Bob Marley. Well, that's quite the range. I'm sure our viewers at home would agree. Well, a story's a story, Sir Nigel, no matter what the genre. Interesting. And I'm sure we would like to know more about your own film work. If you insist, Sir Nigel. I've shot a handful of short movies based on some of my short stories, most recent of which was First Impressions.
Oh, the problem ones anyways. All we have to do is sit here and watch them on CCTV for minimum wage. Really? Mm-hmm. I know, it's not exactly what I had in mind when I got into nursing either.
And Mr. Chucklebones.
My last mommy and daddy told me he doesn't exist.
But Mr. Chucklebone says that he does.
Although one of my favourites is my 2014 horror comedy, Zombie Family, The Day in the Death. A good zombie wife knows that she is obliged to look her most alluring at bedtime. Remember, ladies, your husband may demand an angel in the kitchen, but he expects a whore in the bedroom. Hid with the foreplay over, It's time to get down to the unpleasant necessities of marital coitus, because a healthy sex life is the glue that binds a happy marriage. Hence, speaking of glue, this looks like a job for orangutan adhesive. That name again, orangutan adhesive. And now for the clever part. With orangutan adhesive, it's 30 seconds and you're good to go. Yes, terribly amusing. And have you won any awards for any of your films? Yep, this one was for Best Director, Zombie Family. And I've collected a few others along the way. Most impressive. Thank you. But you still see yourself primarily as a writer. Yeah, the films are a great way to showcase myself as a writer. Something visual that catches the attention. So James, do tell me about your latest novel, The Erotic Odyssey of Colton Forshay. Published by
Jaded Books Publishing.
June 2016. It's a peculiar and wacky story in the great tradition of Bizarro. Bizarro? Bizarro is an extreme branch of the horror genre. It's usually set in weird, strange places and populated by decidedly odd characters. My own unique brand of Bizarro usually contains a rich vein of dark comedy. Ah, I see. So James, do tell me a little more about The Erotic Odyssey of Colton Forshay. Oh, that's the name again. The Erotic Odyssey of Colton Forshay.
Jaded Books Publishing.
June 2016. If I may read. Oh, please do. Colton Forshay dreams himself into a bizarre sexual dystopia. A world in which strange sex acts and violence are the norm, on which the currency is deviant sexual acts. In this dream world, Colton inadvertently gets his dog pregnant and his wife is brutally murdered as a contestant on a popular TV game show. At first disturbed, then intrigued and aroused by his dreams of this other world, Colton is drawn deeper in and begins to spend increasingly more time there with the help of sleeping pills. Colton finds himself caught up with the resistance movement, who believe that the government, led by a telepathic ocelot, controls people by means of dreams of another world that sounds uncannily familiar as the story alternates between Colton's reality and fantasy dream worlds, and the two become inexorably blurred until the disturbing truth is revealed. It certainly sounds like mine and Mrs. Sir Nigel Dresden's cup of tea. That name again? The Erotic Odyssey of Colton Forshay. And what made you write such a fantastical tale of depravity? My objective was to create an entertaining flight of fancy that was both brutal and funny and sexy. That's brutal and funny and sexy. Would you be so kind as to read us a snippet or two? Oh, I never thought, but go on then. The exhibitionist element, thus far, was restricted to Barbara, Honeyloo Woolston and Joe's son Marley, the latter of which was on his hands and knees filleting the very Reverend Smallwood, whilst being fucked in the ass by the O'Keefe's miniature Shetland pony. As the pony thrust into him, Joe's genitals dangled like a hypnotist's watch in a small metal patch which was stinging his scrotum into a red, swollen mess. Colton smiled over at the unholy trio. Shame on Tom and Barbara, he thought. They really ought to do something about their weed problem. That is stirring stuff. Perhaps our viewers at home would like to hear a little more. Cole grunted and thrust hard into his tormentor's hand, working hard towards his orgasm. In the blink of an eye, the dominatrix had pushed Cole's dick downwards and nailed it to a wooden table by its engorged purple head. Colton saw that the dominatrix was already selecting another tool from the wall, something that looked to him like a cast-iron melon bowler. Colton wanted to close his eyes, but somehow his morbid fascination couldn't allow him to tear himself away. Cole sobbed as the pain from his dick tore through his body. "Oh, sweet Jesus, no," he cried. "I'll do anything. Please, no more." Of course, the dominatrix ignored this meaningless plea, and taking the baller thing, she scooped out his nipples. Another swift motion, she was good at those, and the dominatrix removed Cole's tongue at the root with a paring knife. She held the tongue aloft for him to see, and Cole screamed as best he could with no tongue and a mouth filled with blood. He struggled and bucked on the table and coughed and spluttered thick gobs of blood over his ruined body, his cries wet and gurgling. The dominatrix, in what appeared to be an uncharacteristically tender gesture, twisted Cole's head to one side to allow the blood from his mouth to pour out, presumably to prevent him drowning in the stuff. "Thank you, James. That was super." "You're welcome." You will be able to purchase the Erotic Odyssey of Colton Forshay from
Jaded Books Publishing.
21st of June 2016. It will be available in both print and electronic format that the young people today seem to favour, although I myself prefer a proper book. You can find out more about this and James's other work, and even watch some of his moving pictures should the fancy take you, on his website www.jameslongmore.com. So for now, I'd like to thank James for joining us to shamelessly plug his book, The Erotic Odyssey of Colton Forshay,
Jaded Books Publishing.
June 21st, 2016. From me, Sir Nigel Gresley, it's goodbye for now. So James, what does the H stand for? I told you not to ask me that.